This is a DIVEBOMB interview. I'm here with Laura Camps, a former Ferrari Academy driver. Hello, Laura. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. And you?
I'm good, thanks. I believe you had your first taste of Formula Car at Paul Ricard. What was that like, mentally and physically?
Physically wise, it was hard because I it was the first time I stepped into single seaters, and I don't lie when I say that I couldn't press the brakes hard enough for me to brake good.
Yeah,
And also the neck and the arms, it's quite different from karting. It's more physically, and then mentally, I was having a blast. Like I was just enjoying it so much because it was first time, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like we have a problem because I like it, and we can't afford it. Like we cannot afford it, and
yeah.
I was just having fun, and mentally, it was just having some kind of funny time.
In terms of physicality, is it difficult to find any training for your neck? There's so much
Yeah,
you have to do with your neck.
honestly, no, because right now, at the moment, like technology has been evolving so much, and they've developed some kind of methods or some kind of different types of strings and stuff to train your neck. So it's quite easy. There's also some simple exercises you could do at your home to train your neck. So it's quite easy. So it's not difficult thing to train. You
Yeah.
just need to get used to it.
Now, when you joined the academy, I believe you were saying in an interview that if you if you didn't win, it will be like all over because you couldn't afford much. So, like, what was the experience of like winning the actual academy seat?
So honestly, I wasn't expecting it. It was just a surprise. There's a reaction in posted on Facebook, which I dislike it a lot because I start crying a lot and just for emotion and stuff. But it was amazing. I couldn't even express myself, like the joy I was feeling, but also the I was so grateful for that opportunity because I knew that I wouldn't have it outside from that program. So it was just kind of like a nice opportunity to show and demonstrate what I'm capable of. And then when I was there, it was just amazing, the whole experience, the places, the headquarters, everything was just so good. Like aside from other things and other stuff that could happen on the inside, overall it was an amazing opportunity, which I'm so grateful for it because thanks to that, I'm having a lot of opportunities now.
Yeah. Before I get on to the actual F4 test, was there like anything else other than the F4 test and like any like training with the other academy drivers that you had to do? Was it like simulator work?
So we had like a weekly program every Friday. They sent us the program for all the week. Most of the time for me, because I was testing and not going to races, it consisted of gym sessions twice a day, some 2 hours mental training. The only time I went to the sim was when I was going with Iron Links to their headquarters to prepare for the test for the weekend, or even if my colleagues, or for example Maya, was going to do a race and I was going with her. I was also going to the simulator, which didn't give me priority to try and drive on the sim. They had priority to the drivers who were actually racing. But yeah, I think I did more simulator days than tests. But I feel that that was all right. It was good. It was a nice training. The coach was with us. We could compare with the teammates. So it was good. It was actually good teamwork and training with others. And then on the gym, we used to train all together. Whenever they had races, I was obviously left alone at Ferrari because I didn't race.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of me, myself, and I. But then we kind of like we had a bond and stuff, and whatever we trained together, we always competed with each other. It was kind of like, oh, I'm better than you at this, or I can lift more weights than you, and it was always this competitive stuff in there.
In terms of simulator driving, is it very different from any like simulator games like iRacing or Corsa?
Um, Sometimes it was depending the track and that, but we used Air Factor and another program which I cannot remember honestly. And iRacing, I must say, iRacing is quite realistic. I like it a lot. I enjoy driving it. From the other side, Assetto Corsa is quite different and it's a little bit more difficult in terms of speaking about being realistic. But everything could work actually if you could have a good setup and stuff. It was easy to work on the sim. But I think it's not different the program that you use. I think that what makes the difference is the sim you have, the all the pedals, the steering wheel, and everything. It just that makes a difference.
You had a few tests during the year in Italian F4 and then in Barcelona at the end of the year. What was that like?
Um, Italian F4, it was hard because you were driving with everyone, and I don't lie to you if I say there were like 40 cars on the track, and it was just, oh my God, he's going this way, this way, this way. But I could focus on myself, so it was easy. And then Barcelona was pretty enjoyable. It was home track, which I was so happy about it, and I was so excited. So and also my last test with F4 and in FDA. So I was just kind of trying to experiment, like not experiment, but trying to make the best out of it. So it was very, very good.
I'm not sure if you can answer this question, but is there anything that you can share on why you were dropped from the academy after only a few testing opportunities?
Honestly, yeah, I can share some. It's not like it's private or something. It's just, um, at the time it was confident, and I knew I was being dropped out on November, but I didn't say it until January 1st because that was when the contract was terminated.
Yeah.
I felt a little bit not maybe not disappointed, but sad that they didn't, say goodbye or didn't post anything about it. A lot of people were just like asking questions, and I was feeling very overwhelmed at the time. But I think it was like a mix of things, mostly economically. Um, I was told by different people that they were paying for my season, that they wouldn't be paying for my season anymore. And if someone's not paying, Ferrari's not paying the season for you. So it was just kind of a combination of different stuff and things I couldn't control. So it wasn't from my side. That's
In terms of racing in karting, has that ever like taken any opportunities away from you in terms of driving any other categories?
I don't think so because in the end it's so hard to have sponsors. So you just kind of like go with what you have. Um, However, this year I told my dad, like, no, I don't want to do karting races. I want to focus on cars. I'll do whatever to race cars, even if I have to stay one full year without driving, so I can find a good opportunity, and that's what I'm doing. So I don't think karting has made me miss opportunities. I think the other way, like it created me an opportunity back in 2021.
Yeah.
When I was doing the girls on track, I started a new category and I was doing so good that I don't know what happened to me, but I got chosen to FDA, so I must be good. And then a little bit of karting, like international karting, it was very good for me for my skills, my development. So I don't think I missed out on anything really.
your Formula Racing debut was in India at the Indian Racing League, and due to weather that was like cut short, and you were only racing on one track. What was that experience like?
It was funny. I have to say funny. The first time I remember being called on a Wednesday and just Friday, not like Thursday night, I was already flying to India. I arrived
Yeah.
on Friday. I went directly to the track, just sleeping 2 hours, jet lag, seat feed, free practices, new track, new car. Everything was just so new. And in the end, I was doing good. And then on Sunday, it started raining so hard. I thought we weren't gonna race, but then they didn't give us a red flag. Instead, they let us race. It was all flooded, so it was just everyone was just trying to stay on track because it was kind of impossible. I started last, obviously, because I was the least experienced in there. But I went to P5. It was nice. It was nice. I was going pretty fast in the end. And then the next 2 weeks, it was just kind of like chaos. We went home, and then 3 weeks later, we were back. Suddenly, we were meant to go that track. We couldn't go. We didn't manage to go. Then a cyclone came. We couldn't race. We were stuck at the hotel. It was just, I don't know, it was just a very nice experience. It was so funny. I thought I was gonna die on the cyclone, but aside from that, it was good. Then in the end, we raced, but my car had some. I think it was a clutch problem, a clutch failure, and I wasn't able to race, but it was fun.
Yeah. Did you, with the jet lag, did you ever like almost fall asleep during a seat fit?
No, no, because I was kind of nervous.
Yeah.
Like first time, like that time I got a big jet lag, like a massive jet lag. I was only staying there for 3 days. But then when I had to stay there for 2 weeks, I didn't have that much of a jet lag. Instead, there was that day I slept 1 hour, and then I tried to keep going with with the racing, and it was all good. So no jet lag.
Yeah. I believe you're around Barcelona with Maya on the weekend of the F1 Academy round. Were you ever considered as a wildcard for that weekend?
No, they never asked. Like no, no, they never. Um, I I had my thoughts about it, and I spoke with some people, and I'm like, "What do you think about this?" And they were like, "I don't know, as you like, as you if you want to do it, we can manage to look into it." But then, it's been a long time since you last raced in F4. Um, these girls have plenty of races testing, and you're gonna go there, you're probably gonna be last, and then what's gonna happen? Like, and yeah, I thought about it, and it was like maybe just a waste of money instead of we could invest it in something else that we actually are. But no, they never said anything or contacted me or whatsoever.
In terms of sponsorships, do you think I'm fairly certain that it's the case, but do you think it's harder for female racers to get sponsorships?
I think once I thought it was because you cannot, like, if you are, for example, an investor, you're not going to invest in something you don't know it's going to work. That's for sure. But I think it's the same for everyone. Uh, I can say I'm Lewis Hamilton and I'm very fast, but then I need to prove it.
Yeah.
And it's hard for someone to sponsor you if you haven't done pretty much anything in sense of racing. For example, I've only been racing in India, and I only completed one race from all the three. So it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to find someone. Instead, we are trying to go uh, to other paths, other ways to find sponsors, and that's what I'm doing right now. Like, I'm working on my socials. I'm working on my sim racing. I'm doing sim racing videos. I'm gonna try other racing cars. So we're like kind of in the way. I think at some point I got stuck mentally in something, so that's why I didn't create the opportunity. Now I'm creating it. So
Yeah. Is there anything else that you're planning for the rest of the year in terms of Formula driving?
aside from India, no formula. I think that that chapter is quite close for me. It's pretty expensive. And then we are looking into other stuff such as GTs or even electric races. So we're looking into it, and it looks good for the end of the year. And I hope on 2025 I'll be racing in something good.
In terms of, you said you're looking into GT racing. Um, I believe Rahel Frey once said that she's been very positively watching you and Maya in Formula Racing. Have you ever spoken to any of the Eindamesburen about possibly racing?
No, honestly, during my 15 or 18 days of testing, I've only saw Rahel once. I only saw her once, and maybe throughout the whole year, I only saw her that time. So kind of surprising. But that time she was like, "Oh, would you mind going, like imagining back in 2022, would you mind maybe trying racing F4 in India?" And I was like, "What, in India? Like, what are you saying?" Then 2 years later, I'm on going to race in India again. But she was asking this question like, "Oh, in India, and would you mind trying GTs or whatever?" And we all said yes. Like I remember being in having dinner, being with both Maya and Dorian. So we were just like kind of having like a weird conversation that at that time it felt weird, but right now it makes sense. So
Yeah.
she mentioned it, but we didn't get the opportunity.
Little bit of a personal question, but you do obviously have a lot of support from your parents in terms of racing opportunities and emotionally as well. What about Andrea?
She's a good support for me. She always supports me. Like she's always cheering for me. Um, she works a lot, so whenever I race, she can either not come or watch it. But she's always supporting me in whatever I do, whatever decision I make, and she's also rooting for me, so it's always positive.
Yeah. Um, Trying to think of a final question. I think that's everything.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Bye.
Bye.